Show, your weekly voyage into Florida fishing. Presented by Hubbard's Marina. Hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Good morning, Tampa Bay. Captain Dylan Hubbard here for the Bartow for Real Animals Fishing Show. We are going to be talking fishing this morning and hopefully hearing from you as well. This morning we've got a packed studio. We've got Captain Travis Thompson from All Florida in studio with me this morning. We've got Chris Myers from Ace Heating and Cooling in studio as well. We are talking fishing, and right now we're talking mostly hunting. But
that was the pregame show.
The pregame show. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning and look forward to hearing from you as well. Remember, if you want to join the show, you can give us a call at 1-800-969-9352. If you have a question, fishing report, you just want to say hello, give us a call, 1-800-969-9352. We always like to kick the show off with a little weather update, and right now we're on the backside of a dry front, kind of a mild front on that as well. Luckily, it's going to be calming down nicely through the day today. Tomorrow's looking pretty darn good. And then Monday and Tuesday as well, both look really good before it gets a little nautical there midweek with a much stronger, much more significant front rolling through sometime Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. That timing has vacillated a little bit, but right now it looks like Wednesday afternoon on that big front. And it is going to shake things up for us quite a bit, quite substantially. And then on the backside of that front, it should hopefully eventually calm down. Right now, the forecast has changed a little bit since yesterday. When I was looking at it, it was supposed to calm down and look pretty good by this upcoming weekend. But right now, the forecast this morning looks like that front's going to roll through and that weather's going to stay a little bit angry, at least almost through the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the backside of that front, because
the timing on that's going to be strange. Like it could be nice by Saturday, but it may not be nice until Monday.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll calm down quickly, because yesterday it was showing it would calm down by like Saturday. And if that's the case, it should be a really good weekend coming up, because we'll be on the backside of that stronger front, and we've got a full moon coming up Sunday, December 15th. So tomorrow, Sunday, we're on a first quarter moon. So the first half of the work week, we have a nice little weather window, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but it'll be a quarter moon. So for inshore fishermen, a little less moving water. For nearshore and offshore fishermen, it shouldn't affect us as much, but it definitely will be a little bit more of a slower moving current. And then as we move into next weekend, we'll have that full moon effect. So backside of a front with that full moon next weekend should be pretty epic if the weather allows. So definitely keep an eye on that. And your weather update was brought to you by our friends over there at Reese Windows and Doors. They're Florida's leading window and door company with over 50 years in the business. They offer free installation on most windows and doors, and they install in just 6 weeks. They use only in-house installers, no freelance contractors, and their work comes with a double lifetime warranty, which means you never pay for your warranty when you sell your home, and that warranty transfers to the new owner, which adds value to your home. Visit reesewindows.com for more information on that. So, exciting stuff weather-wise. At least we know for sure we have a good weather window here to start the week. And fishing, man, it's been incredible.
Yeah, I was asking you. You said you've been wrecking them.
Yeah, offshore fishing has been stellar. Red snapper season reopened for us November 18th all the way through the end of the year. So we've got red snapper open for federal for-hire. Private recreational red snapper is open on the weekends as well. And I was hoping this upcoming weekend would be a good one for the private rec fleet to go out there and crush them. So I'm still holding out hope this upcoming weekend will calm down behind that front, because it should be stellar. But it looks like they'll get a chance tomorrow, private rec anglers, to get out there on that Sunday and go get them. Offshore fishing, not only are the red snapper biting pretty darn well, but we're seeing a ton of yellowtail. We've seen a really big uptick in the mutton. We're even catching black grouper, like consistent. I wouldn't say we're catching a lot, but we're bringing home a keeper black grouper on almost every 39-hour trip right now.
It's not a surprise to see you got a black.
Yeah, it's wild.
Is that out in the deeper water?
We're fishing for red snapper. We generally target around like 150 to 180 to start, and we'll fish as deep as like 220 sometimes, depending on the current, depending on the crowd. But yeah, mostly deeper. And this one area that we've been hitting has a ton of yellowtail, and it's just top to bottom yellowtails. And not only are we keeping one, hooking one, maybe two keeper blacks, but we're hooking fish consistently that are just dogging people and
Freight
breaking them
trains.
off. Yeah, so
Can't even turn them.
So I think there's some bigger ones down there. And, yeah, it'd be interesting to see someone bring out a big 50 wide or 80 wide with a 120-pound leader and try to horse up one of them big dogs.
That's on the 39-hour?
Yeah, the 39 hours crushing them. The 12-hour extreme's doing really well, too. This time of year is interesting. Captain Will, our 39-hour captain, put it really well. He said this red snapper season is different from the summer because, A, it's not summer, so it's cooler out there.
It's perceptive.
It's more temperate. And also, on top of that, we don't have as many people. During the summer, everybody expects red snappers to be open, and everybody has that high demand, so we have more
boat
people
pressure's
on the boat.
lower.
Yeah, we have more people on the boat. It's a little bit more crowded, so this time of year, there's less people, more elbow room, and on top of that, all the other fish are biting so well. In the summertime, we target the red snapper. We catch some mangroves. We catch some other fish with them, of course, but it's just not what it is right now. On top of all the bottom species that are biting well, we're catching yellowtails, mangroves, porgies, vermilions, almacos really consistently, but we're getting some of those muttons. We're getting some of those blacks. We're getting some of those African pompano. A big variety, a big mixture, but also the pelagics have been nuts. We're seeing pretty consistent wahoo. We're seeing pretty consistent blackfin tuna. We're seeing a lot of big kingfish, so it's nuts offshore right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said the inshore bite's been good, too.
Yeah, the redfish have been biting real good inshore. Where I'm at, up around the Upper Bay, west side.
Yeah. The redfish bite in Johns Pass has been stupid.
Really?
Stupid. So the Johns Pass jetty issue, which we'll get into, is super frustrating. But essentially, the rocks there along the North Jetty of Johns Pass used to have a walkway on it. Unfortunately, the city manager declared unsafe that walkway and had Public Works go out there and jackhammer up the whole walkway.
I remember that. But they are replacing it, right?
Well, they say they're replacing it, but, I mean, it takes a long time. And he's saying it's under construction. It'll be rebuilt in 6 to 9 months, but I call BS on that one. I mean, it took 2 years to get the permit done for the sand dredging, and that project still hasn't happened. We got money allocated for that in September of 22. There's no money allocated for the jetty yet. So there's not even money allocated. And then once the money's allocated, they got to go through the permit process. So I think it's going to be years before that walkway is rebuilt. So long story short, they have that walkway all broke up on the jetty, and they have it all cordoned off. There's big signs, no trespassing. So there'll be 50 people out there crushing redfish, just every cast, every shrimp you toss out is a redfish. And the sheriff will come out there and kick everybody off.
Oh, I hate that.
Everybody walks away.
I hate that.
The sheriff leaves, and then all of a sudden there's another 50 people out there fishing. But even fishing from the beach, even because you can fish from the beach and you can fish from the rocks just inside the jetty, and people are still crushing the redfish there too. And on top of that,
are they just like schoolie size? Like what are they? Like some slot or
slot and underslot? Not real big ones. We're not seeing big bull reds, but a lot of those schoolie redfish are moving around and just super aggressive right now. And on top of that, they're seeing some of the trout. They're seeing some of the sheep's head. They're seeing some pompano. So it's a good time inshore around the pass and around all over. It seems like the big trout are in there. Are you seeing any big trout in that area you're fishing, or are you just targeting those reds, Chris?
Just targeting redfish. There's not a lot of trout up around, the kitchen and stuff like that.
I got you. So that's where you live. You have a couple different boats. You got the inshore boat, and then you got the offshore boat too, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. And you haven't made it offshore just because of weather?
No, just haven't had the time to get offshore. Every
just
time
too
I
busy
get a
to go
chance,
fishing.
it's just not the right weather.
Yeah.
weather and business, dude. He's in there doing business.
That
and
resonates.
Family.
Yeah.
And the holidays and family and
Makes it challenging.
and duck hunting.
And duck hunting. When you're out there duck hunting and watching the redfish tail in your decoys, it's tough to pick. Do I want to pick up a gun or do I want to pick up a rod?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can guarantee you that's a thing that always happens to every duck hunter in saltwater ever.
Mm-hmm.
Is you're sitting there just watching big old flags wave in your decoys and you're like, why didn't I bring a rod? Why didn't we and then you go specifically to fish and you watch ducks everywhere and you're like, why didn't I bring a shotgun? You got to do it both.
You got to commit.
You got to commit. You got to cast and blast it.
Yeah, that's like a slow pitch jig fishing too. because in order to slow pitch jig fish offshore, you got to have all the jigs, the rods, and you got to really commit to that as well. But if you're bait fishing, you need a variety of rods and tackle. So if you want to do both, you gotta really commit and bring a lot of stuff with you. And if you don't, and you just bring the bait gear, and all of a sudden some guy brings a slow pitch rod, and you see him crushing the fish, you're like, oh man.
When we used to
Why didn't I
spec
bring
fish
that?
on like Toho or Hatchinahaw, I'd always joke because ducks will fly right by you when you're out there spec fishing. You go set up a duck decoy blind and everything, they stay 300 yards away from you. I'm like, you got to start bringing. And we did one time. We brought shotguns out there and fished, and we ended up killing like 6 or 8 ducks.
Nice. Have
Spec
one guy
fishing.
standing with a rod to bring the ducks in, and then done when I shoot them.
Human decoys.
Human decoys, that'll work for you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So duck season is wide open, and you had a good opener, but it's been a little bit tough lately.
Yeah, the migratory birds have just been, there's not as many birds in Florida as there normally are. So there's some guys doing well, but it's really hit or miss on who's doing well, when they're doing well. That's why I'm here this morning. We didn't run hunts this morning because our bird numbers are so low. Although I wanted to run a hunt because I've got a Canada goose sitting out there, and we don't get geese. And I was like, man, I kind of want to go get him. But then I don't get to get him. I got to give him to a client somewhere. So I was like, no, we're going to let him have a week. See what happens next week. But we're starting to see more birds trickle in. But you talked about that front coming midweek.
Yeah, that would be a
that
big
should help us. If nothing else, it'll just move around the birds that are here.
Yeah.
Because I think some of those fronts, you don't see huge pushes of new birds. You see birds get bumped around from barometric pressure change and everything else. So birds from an STA will move to a ranch. Birds from a ranch will move to a lake. Like, you just see them kind of bounce around some in state. So it's the right time of year though, and you can't shoot them sitting on the couch. You can't catch them sitting on the couch, right? Like you got to get out and go.
Got to get out there and try it. Well, that and more on the other side. Remember, if you want to join the conversation, bring us a question, fishing reporter, just say hello, give us a shout. 1-800-969-9352. Real Animals Radio. We'll be right back. Can't shoot them sitting on the couch.
Can't shoot them sitting on the couch.
Couch on the front of a pontoon boat. You can't.
I could do that for sure.
That'd be nice. Those pontoon boats have some plush couches.
Heck yeah.
I love a good pontoon boat.
A good pontoon boat.
Yeah, dude, it's
Plush and comfortable.
Versatile.
Yeah. Sandbar, hopping, flats fishing, duck hunting.
Have they still been doing good with the hogfish near shore?
Yeah, hog fishing has been good. It's very sporadic. One day you'll get them really well, and then the next day it'll be real tough. We haven't seen a super consistent hogfish bite, but overall it's been pretty steady as far as your chances are high. But getting into them and staying into them has been a little bit of a challenge. And then they close lanes, so that makes it a little bit challenging because you're throwing back a bunch of lanes, but plenty of tacos mixed in with the,
Probably big ones.
yeah. Plenty of tacos mixed in with the gray snapper and everything else. Morning, William Keene, Paul Brown, Matthew Lentz. Morning, Angie, Lee, Linda, Daniel, Michael, Jeff, Robert Riggs, and Jack. Morning, y'all. Ooh, Robert Riggs is coming on the 10-hour tomorrow.
Bobby Woodard's watching.
Bobby
Captain
Woodard.
Bobby Woodard.
Nice.
Set up an appointment and find out more at reverseguru.com. That's reverseguru.com.
Hi, I'm Benny Jr. with Bartow Ford. Everyone has heard me speak about going the wrong way. But let me be clear. The wrong way means the wrong way of doing business. This includes gimmicks, games, and unfulfilled tactics you will never
Chris, while we're in a break, if you go to a cookout and somebody's grilling a hot dog
Oh, my God.
and they're also grilling a burger, what do you pick for your first?
I
Like,
thought
where do you go
about asking
first?
him that this morning, too.
Is there baked beans?
Sure.
Okay, then I'm going hot dog.
Jesus Christ.
It's not because the burger's bad, dude. It's just because the hot dog calls to you in that setting. Like, you gravitate to
Why
it.
does baked beans make a difference?
Beans and weenies.
Yeah, it's like a beanie
yeah.
weenie deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like dipping it in the.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, that is good. I hear you. I just wondered where your mind was going with
But it's
that.
also got to be a good hot dog.
Yeah, and I'm not talking
I'm
like
not-
some cheap hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm talking like
It's got to be a good hot dog.
it's not like gray. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a Nathan's or a Hebrew National or
Yeah.
something.
Boar's Head.
Yeah.
That is
Dylan's
good.
been
Makes
like
good hot dogs.
so when I was in Wisconsin, somebody called in and told us to try some kind of Zweigels or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they make them, and I had one at a high school basketball game.
Oh, nice.
10 out of 10. It was incredible.
What's it called?
I think it's Zweigels or Ziegels or it's a Z. And it looked like a cheap hot dog, but dude, it was so good.
Huh.
It was
Never
really
heard
good.
of that one.
You texted me that day. You had eaten like 4 hot dogs.
I did. I ate hot dogs the entire time I was in Wisconsin. Hot dogs or corn dogs.
Wisconsin, the land of hot dogs and cheese.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I ate cheese curds everywhere I went too.
Yeah,
I
our,
just had those for the first time the other day at Culver's.
So
bro,
good.
so
aren't they?
good. My one of our guests is coming down. Her name's Karen. She's in the heart of Wisconsin, and she always comes down with a big box of cheese curds.
Really?
Yeah, she sent me a picture. She's bringing down pounds of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My buddy Ryan, who just commented on the screen, he was we were putting up Christmas lights and cutting down trees. We went there for lunch.
I like it.
Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Back, Real Animal Saturday, talking fishing, and hopefully hearing from you as well. Remember, 1-800-969-9352 to join the conversation. We've got Captain Travis Thompson from All Florida in studio this morning, and also Chris Myers from Ace Heating and Cooling. Talking fishing, talking hunting, and more this morning. Want to give a shout out to our friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. Whether you need a shingle, metal, tile, or flat roof, our friends at Affordable Roofing Systems are your safest choice for repairs or replacements. With over 3 decades of roofing experience, let Affordable Roofing Systems guide you through this important process. They are defined by integrity, respect, and honesty, and they have a professional approach to doing business. Call 888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. With that, we've got Captain Bobby Woodard on the line this morning. Good morning, Bobby. How are you, buddy?
There he is.
Good morning, fellas.
Hey, Bobby.
I hope you're doing well this morning. Probably freezing over there in Imperial Polk County, huh?
Or he's rebuilding something, so he's sweating already.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm actually down in Charlotte. We're the final push, man. This last weekend to get the house done. Next weekend is decor. Weekend after that, it's cleaning, and then the renters move in. So
Awesome.
we're
Decor.
near the finish line.
84 years after Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, for real. Still rebuilding.
I feel like the chick from Titanic. You know.
That was a good comparison there, Bobby. So that's awesome, man. I'm
What's up,
happy
man?
to hear it. Have you been doing any fishing lately?
I've been doing a little bit of bass fishing, actually, up there in Imperial Polk, and it's been really good. It's been really, really good. So the inshore bite, down here and in Tampa Bay, both has been good. I've had some buddies go out lately. I actually had a dude yesterday up in Tampa Bay, inside the Skyway, just absolutely annihilate the gags. He caught some of the biggest gags I've ever seen, come from inside the bay.
I got a
So that was
photo
kinda
from
cool to see.
a buddy, Ron Beaton, and he came in the office yesterday and showed me a photo of a horse gag grouper that he had caught trolling the bay. So the gags are there.
Nice.
If you want to go out and catch and release them.
What have you
Yeah,
been catching bass on, Bobby?
Black trickworm.
Oh, I thought we were going to get a, was it a purple booyah?
Yeah,
As an homage to.
lipless crankbait.
No, we'll save that for Ron later.
Yes, sir.
But
So the bass, are they
Dylan,
bet?
what's up?
Go ahead, Bobby.
Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna ask you, what's up with the hamburger thing, man? It's always a hot dog.
No. I like hamburgers and cheeseburgers. I don't mind a hot dog. I'm not adverse to it. It's just not my first choice. I mean, I'm an American. It just I go for the beef.
I think a hamburger is just always available, and a hot dog's not. And so I choose a hot dog because it's not as readily available to me.
Because you're an adult?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
okay.
probably why.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably why.
So I'm an American as well, which is why it's a hot dog, and it's a hot dog with ketchup, mustard, relish, and onions. That is the American dog.
Oh, Why are we here? Why are we here right now?
Poor Dylan. You can see the hurt in his eyes.
Oh, man. So the Bobby, when you went bass fishing, are they bedding down already?
You know, I didn't really see any beds. We were in Travis knows exactly where we're at. We're in a little residential pond.
I do know where he was at.
I didn't see I didn't see any beds. We just kind of troll along the shoreline and just kind of pitch the shoreline and work the worm a little bit off, and in that kind of 5-foot-ish range coming off the shoreline is where most of the bites were.
So they're getting close.
Yeah, I think usually for us, like Polk County, you're talking bedding in January, February.
Okay.
That's
more
really
of a,
where you're
more
going to
of
have
a later winter. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're getting close.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's on the verge.
Yeah.
It's coming. There's a lake in Polk County that's a shallow, like pan. I'll tell you guys offline where it is. But you can see the beds and like sight fish them like you would bonefish or redfish.
Nice.
Like you can catch the little buck bass off the bed and then throw in and catch the sow right behind it.
Nice.
That's a good fishing day. Like that's a fun sight fishing day.
That sounds fun. I'm excited. Bass fishing in the winter is where it gets fun.
Yeah.
Sight fishing.
Nice
on the
weather.
beds.
And yeah, I'll drop you a pin.
There you go.
I can see it in Chris's eyes. He's like,
he's ready.
I really haven't bass fished since I got a driver's license, to be honest with you. Just never really.
I came back to bass fishing a little bit because it's so convenient. Like doing the duck hunting and stuff. It's just so convenient to have a rod in the car and be able to like in an afternoon go catch a few bass out of versus going to the coast.
I can see that.
So,
I'm not a huge bass fisherman. I actually even live on a lake. I think I've been on my dock like twice in 10 years. But I like going bass catching.
Same, yeah.
So this particular pond, residential pond that my buddy has access to, it's bass catching. It's not bass fishing.
there you go.
It's a nice break every so often.
That's awesome, man.
When are you booking for tarpon season?
It's rolling. There's calls, emails are coming in. I sent a big kind of mass email out to client list, a couple weeks back, and getting some good replies coming in.
So when are you starting tarpon trips?
Typically in April. In March, I'll be doing some inshore stuff, and I'll have a couple tarpon rods in the boat just in case we kind of like come across them, kind of thing. But typically around kind of mid-April-ish, kind of like tax day is what I typically tell people. That's when the inshore rods don't come out of the closet anymore, and it's just all tarpon.
There it is.
Y'all pay taxes?
America. Nice.
You get a free hot dog with that.
Yes. Anything else you got to add, Bobby? We're up against the break.
Yeah, man. Do me a favor and get Travis's autograph while he's in there, because once he gets the governor's seat, he's gonna forget about
We're
the
gonna
little guy.
lose him.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Bobby. How would someone reach out to you if they wanted to book a tarpon trip?
Yeah, 863-224-1418 or captain-bobby.com.
Look at him giving out his website. Oh,
He's so techie now.
yeah, Captain Bobby talking about bass fishing. We conjured up Ron.
Is he on the line?
Yeah.
Heck
Ron,
yeah.
Ron on the other side and much more. Thanks, Bobby. See you, buddy. And hopefully we'll hear from you as well. 1-800-969-9352 to join the conversation. We'll be right back.
I figured Mark would have drug you over bass fishing or something. Speck fishing or something.
We did when we were kids.
Okay.
He's
been getting more into it lately too. Like
Who's Mark? Your
My
brother?
cousin.
Oh, your cousin?
Yeah, he grew up. He lived on a lake over in Forest Hills, and we used to play around there and everything. But my grandparents lived on Channel A right there in Upper Tampa Bay, so I was over there as much as I could get. Fishing Rocky Creek, Double Branch Creek, all that kind of stuff with my little John boat and everything. But no, we'd go over there as kids and fish that lake behind his house, and that was a lot of bass fishing. And like I said before, I got a driver's license riding around
So,
Sefner.
Rocky Creek, Double Branch, that's all like north Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's almost like Oldsmar almost.
Yeah, so that's where you grew up fishing, and then you moved down to that more western area?
Yeah, I grew up fishing there just because that's where my grandparents lived on the water there, on a little canal. And then, but yeah, once I got driver's, I've always lived over in Hillsborough, like Riverview, Brandon, Sefner, stuff like that. So it's easier to get to Cockroach Bay or the Alafai River or something like that than driving over that way.
Yeah. That North Tampa Bay area, man, that's shallow stuff.
Back in the day, I mean, I go there maybe once or twice a year still, but back in the day in the 80s and early 90s, it was really good fishing. The grass was still kind of thick on the flats up there. It wasn't, I mean, now you got a lot of nice mud flats, which is still good for redfish and stuff, but you don't see the trout like you used to. But back in the day, it was really good fishing up there, and it still is when it gets cold. This time of year, go up in the North Bay, and it's good. But the warmer it gets, the closer to the skyway you need to be.
They pour out of that upper bay. It's so shallow and
it just gets
black.
so hot.
Yeah.
That water is just so stagnant, so warm.
Yeah.
I mean, in the summertime, it'll get in the 90s.
We have a marine recreational education program, and they hold it up there at, I think it's a Hyatt right there off of 60. So it has this big dock complex, and you can walk out into the mangroves, and it looks so fishy out there. But it's like, I think it's late May typically it happened, and so it was already getting warm, and I feel like the water was boiling. It's crazy. You can feel the heat. Yeah, because it's only 2 feet, 1 foot deep, and it's black mud. Crazy, radiating heat. You just walk out there, and it was like a sauna. So this looks fishy.
Move your headphones away from the mic.
But in the wintertime, they like that warmer water up there, and that's why they'll go sit on those mud flats.
Yeah, they'll sit in them and get warm.
Because the mud will hold the heat in, and they'll just sit there on those mud flats in that upper Tampa Bay, and it's fun to fish for them then.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier.
Especially on a good tide. If you can get a good like outgoing or incoming tide, good moving water, across those mud flats, they'll eat almost anything.
Wow. Shallow stuff. What kind of inshore boat do you have?
Beaver tail.
Beaver tail skiff?
Yep.
Yeah. That's like
I like those boats.
The Lightning.
Nice.
Is it 17?
20.
Oh, you got the big one.
The Lightning is the 20-foot. Yeah,
they're nice boats.
I got to do a lot of running, I got to run all the way out the river to get to the mouth, and I can't have a slow boat. So that thing works perfect for me. I love that.
What's that? Is it got a 200 on it?
No, actually, this one's only rigged with a 150. It's rated for 300. It'll still run in the low 50s with the 150 on the back. So that's fast enough for me. I couldn't imagine. I've never even been on one that had a 300 or a 250 on it. That thing's got to be dangerous. But the 150 does good, and it doesn't mess with my draft. I can still get pretty shallow with that light engine. But it's like any skiff. You got to have somebody on the bow if you're going to be on the poling platform, to offset that balance.
How hard is it to pole that 20-footer?
It's not bad because it's narrow.
It tracks good?
It tracks good. It's narrow. It's obviously not like pushing around like a micro skiff or anything, but it's not poling a Pathfinder.
Poling a Pathfinder would be challenging. Those 24s and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
First boat I pulled around a lot was a 18.9 or something like that.
Like a Hughes?
It was a Baycraft.
Baycraft?
And it was a big, heavy boat, but I was young and strong. And then I pulled a 16, and I felt like I was slip sliding all over the place because that longer hull tracked so well. Like, I wasn't stalking bonefish. Like, we were pulling flats for redfish and stuff. Like, I realized quickly I didn't know how to pole. I needed to do a little work there.
I've never really been into it because a lot of the times, trying to solo fish or whatever, use the trolling motor. But my trolling motor broke a couple months ago, and I picked up the pole, and now I don't want to put the trolling motor back on my boat. It's just, it changes the entire perspective of fishing when you're pushing a boat
up high and you're quiet
versus a trolling motor. It's completely different. And I'd almost rather be on the poling platform pushing the boat, watching other people catch fish, than being up there doing it myself, because it changes everything. It turns it a lot more into hunting for the fish when you're standing up there pushing a boat around than burning the flats with the trolling motor.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm sure I'll get tired of it here soon and put my trolling motor back on, but for right now, I'm liking the push pole.
That's
I
cool.
used to love it, man. And like the success rate we had with clients on artificials with redfish was so high doing that. Because I think we were just quieter.
You can get right on top of them.
Now Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
We're back, Bartow for Real Animals Radio, talking fishing this morning. Captain Dylan Hubbard from Hubbard's Marina. We got Captain Travis Thompson from All Florida, and also Chris Myers from Ace Heating and Cooling in studio this morning. We've got Ron from Ron's Tackle Box coming up. We've got Chris from Brandon with a redfish report as well, and hopefully we'll hear from you too. Give us a call, 1-800-969-9352 to join the conversation. But first, we want to give a shout out to our friends at Relentless Perpetual Edge Knives. Christmas is coming up. This would make a perfect gift for the hunter or fisherman in your family. They are coming out with a hunting knife as well. It's the world's first self-sharpening knife that sharpens as it cuts. Ultra-hard carbide, never rust titanium blade with true grit glass reinforced ABS handle on a knife that is perfectly balanced and comes in 5 great models to choose from. Take the work out of filleting a pile of fish today and get a Relentless knife. Go to relentlessknivesusa.com and find out for yourself why this is a knife all the pros are talking about. Really cool knife. As Mike says, it has beaver tooth technology.
I need to
beaver
get one.
technology.
I can attest to the rust proof too, because I don't have any knives that I can leave on my cleaning station on my boat that don't have rust on it. But that one, it just doesn't
Really?
rust.
Yeah, it truly does. I mean, we leave them by our cutting station on the back deck of the Florida trip after trip after trip. It's been like a year, and it doesn't have any rust.
None.
Wow.
It's definitely got a lot of blood on it and scales and grime from cutting bait, but it does not rust. It's wild. It's truly
Maybe that's the next
impressive.
technology they'll come up with is a self-cleaning knife too.
Whoa. Now I got to call George about that one. Self-sharpening
Great
and
guy, too.
self-cleaning.
Veteran-owned company.
Yeah. Really good
based in
people.
Florida, like really good people.
Yeah, relentlessknivesusa.com. With that, we've got Ron from Ron's Tackle Box on the line. How you doing this morning, Ron, our freshwater guru?
Morning, Ron.
Doing great. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning. Good
nice,
morning.
nice and cool out here in Polk County today.
I believe it. I believe it for sure. Got to get
But we
those
need
specs
that water
biting.
temperature. We need that temperature to get down a little bit more. It's about 65 right now. The water temperature is.
That
We
sounds
need it
cold.
to be about 58 for the prime time.
Okay.
But the speck fishing is great.
Nice.
We call it crappies for the northern people. We call them specks here, but they're crappies. But been really good. Bass fish is picking up in all the local lakes. Nice size ones up to about 8 pounds. We're going to see some big fish this year because we had a lot of water and we had a lot of food in the water. So that made them nice and healthy.
That's awesome, man.
So,
So what are you
fine.
expecting big fish-wise?
10 plus, maybe some 12 pounders.
Whoa.
Coming up probably December, end of December, beginning of January, you'll see them.
If you wanted to get the biggest bass possible, when would you go? That end of December, early January? That's the best time of year?
Yeah, January, beginning of February, good spawning time right there. And I advise people, catch them, let them go immediately. Take a picture, let them go, because once when they leave that bed, the predators come.
Mm-hmm.
So let them go. Don't play around with them. Don't take them to another lake. Don't show your family. Take a picture.
Take a picture and release them quick.
That's right. It
Gotcha.
works well.
Then big bass, what would you be throwing for them?
Oh, you know what I'm going to tell you.
I know what you're gonna say. Say it, Ron. Say it, Ron.
Booyah, booyah.
There you go.
Loyalty color. They're real good. I mean, all year round, they're good. But shiners work well. A lot of people use shiners this time of year. So you'll have a good
shiners.
time.
The live shiners, throwing them up there towards the beds?
Fine. Yes.
I gotcha.
Basically anything that's kind of flary, a lizard, big crawfish, artificial, works real good because it's a threat, and they like to just grab a hold of it and take it out of the bed.
I gotcha.
So that's how you catch them.
Get them angry.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
it.
the
Spec,
threat.
spec bite good at night, or is it still better during the day right now?
Daytime is good right now, and nighttime. Nighttime's good all year round.
Okay.
I gotcha.
You catch them all year at nighttime.
And I heard they're still in the grass. I talked to some guys yesterday that were
Yes.
catching them still in
Yes.
the grass.
In the grass, and they're drifting for them.
Okay.
Okay. A little bit of both.
Yep.
Awesome, Ron. How would someone stop by and see you over there at Ron's Tackle Box?
All right. I'm at 380 South Lakeshore Way, which is 1792 in Lake Alfred. Phone number 863-956-4990.
The shop is still for sale, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm ready for anybody wants to come take over.
A successful tackle business.
But you're going to keep running it as long as nobody buys it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be here to sell the property anyhow. So
There it is.
I've been here 30 years at this location.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck to you, Ron. I hope you have a great day, and I hope the bass get bigger and bigger. Looking forward to those big reports.
They're doing it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, you have a good day, brother. Always a pleasure to hear from our freshwater guru, Ron, at Ron's Tackle Box. Definitely stop by and see him if you haven't already. We've also got Chris from Brandon with a redfish report. Interested to hear from Chris. What you got for us this morning, buddy?
Yeah, good morning. We got a little place up in Newport Richie that we got about a year ago.
Okay.
I grew up there. Long story short, it's a real long story. We bought 10 dozen shrimp and probably netted that many more, quarter-sized pinfish. Everyone was ate by a redfish, and we were picking the in one spot and picking up the dead pinfish, putting them back on, absolutely destroying them. Mixed in with that was like best day. I offshore fish more than I do inshore, but best inshore day fishing I've had since I was about 15. Hey, can I give you? I don't know any other way to do this. Can I give you a little bit of bad news?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I knew this guy for about 10 years, actually 11 years. He was my financial advisor. He stole $360,000 from me that I earned cutting grass over 40 years. The guy's name is Capt. Don't ever invest with Capt. He befriended me. We talked about fishing for months and months. Well, for years we talked about it. He just groomed me in some way or another. He switched paperwork. I know you guys don't want to get involved in that, but Capt. Beware, people. Do not invest with this guy. He's a crook, and I hope he tries to sue me. It'd be fantastic. He knows who I am.
I thought the bad news was going to be.
I thought the bad news was going to be like bad water. Or,
yeah, I thought we were going to have a fish kill or something, or he was going to drop a pin for the spot right here on the show.
Yeah, I thought we were going to blow up that hot spot.
Which we would take a pin for that spot.
I worked 40 years for that money, and he stole it all.
Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, Chris. Well, I'm glad you're on the redfish at least.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even care the way I've looked at it. We got enough money to live. This guy going through the proper channels will probably cost me more in legal fees than it would to recoup my money. And we have, enough money to survive, but I just don't want anybody else to go through what me and my family's had to go through.
I hear you, man.
This guy is bad news. Anyway, hey, I'll call again, and I won't ever mention that again, but y'all have a good day. And, Dylan, I've fished and went out in Florida fishing. I haven't in the last 20 years. I'm 63. I used to talk to I guess it would be it was your grandpa.
Yes, sir.
Actually gave me the tips on, because I grew up right there in Newport Richie, but he's the one that actually got me more into offshore fishing. Your dad, not that much. I didn't talk to you that much, but your grandpa was, I'm sure I'm telling you, what a great guy. That guy was an absolute great guy.
I appreciate it, man.
Time to talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, hey, I'll let y'all go. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the phone call, brother. And good luck with everything. The redfish bite, hot even in Newport Richie. So it's all over.
I've never been on a redfish bite like that.
No.
10 dozen shrimp and that many quarter-sized pinfish in every single
I've
one.
had some good redfish days. I ain't never had a redfish day like that.
No.
That's amazing. So it's hot redfish in action all over the bay, and definitely seeming that way even out into the beaches. It's crazy that we're catching redfish on the beach like that, too.
I know. I love them when they're on the beach. They get that silvery color.
They get like almost white.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Looks like a completely different fish.
It almost looks like a trout coming up until you see the spot and the bully head.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's a good time of year to get out there and go take advantage of the good weather. And also, we'd love to hear from you as well. So if you have a fishing report, question, comment, just want to say hello, give us a shout, 1-800-969-9352. So we've got inshore fishing is going well. Near shore, we're getting the hogfish action going. I know you asked me on break, Chris. We're seeing some nice hogfish action. The lane snapper are closed, which is a little frustrating, but they'll open back up January 1st, so we don't have that much of a wait to get those lane snapper once again. We are seeing some nice mangrove snapper mixed in, but the hogfish bite has been good overall. We're just seeing it a little spotty. So it's one day you get them really well and they cooperate really well. The next day, same area, similar conditions. They got the lockjaw and don't want to bite. So it's been a little frustrating in that respect, but overall, pretty good hog fishing action, even on the half day. So
Is that shrimp or crabs?
all shrimp. We mainly use shrimp, but I mean, fiddler crabs work really well. The rock shrimp work really well. Sand fleas work really well. We tend to push people towards the shrimp because we've tried some of those other baits out there, and they do work well for hogfish. But what I find is if you're using the crabs or the sand fleas or the rock shrimp, you cut down on bycatch so much, and you just don't have bend and rod action. So from a charter aspect, you want action going on. You want some fish catching happening.
Makes for a slower trip.
Yeah, so shrimp works really well in that respect because not only will it work for those hogfish, but it'll work for pretty much everything else out there. So I like the shrimp from that regard, but if you're going out there to target the hogfish, definitely, if you're patient, dropping those fiddler crabs, is that how you normally get them?
No, I usually use shrimp.
Yeah. Fiddler crabs do work though, but you got to be a lot more patient.
Do you put the shrimp on those jigs, on those?
You can use a variety of methods. Some people will use a jig head. Some people will use a knocker rig with just the egg sinker on the leader with a hook and a live shrimp. Some people will use the jigs, whether it's a ball jig, a banana jig. Everybody and their brother has a hogfish jig now that they like. So jig head, knocker rig, or jig, some sort of ball jig or some other kind of hogfish jig. Those are the three methods that we see
Yeah, it's
the
pretty
most.
much personal preference.
Are you a jig guy or are you a?
No, I like the knocker rig.
You do?
Yeah.
I like it. It's a lot more versatile. If I want to have the bait on the bottom, I know I can do that, or I can reel it up and drop the weight down and leave the shrimp up a little higher.
Yeah.
You'll typically get better snapper action and stuff like that when the shrimp's off the bottom. But if you want it hogfish only, definitely put it down on the bottom.
Yeah, I would agree. I like the knocker rig just because of that versatility, and I also think that you can feel the bite a little bit better. When you're straight to a jig, you got to fight through that jig, so it makes it a little bit more challenging.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. We got more on the other side as well. Remember, we'd love to hear from you. 1-800-969-9352 to call in. Real Animals Radio. We'll be right back after this.
If I'm fishing with people that don't know how to really fish, then I'll put them on a jig head because you don't have to worry about entangling the weight up with the line and everything.
Yeah, getting a twist or something
and it's
like that.
direct. They can feel it directly if there's no slack in the line or anything like that. But for me, I'm definitely going.
At Snowcat Ridge Alpine Snow Park.
I've only caught a handful of hogfish. I'm not a hogfish fisherman, but they're my favorite eating fish.
No, to be honest with you, it's gotten to be where I'd rather do that than I'd rather go out and catch a bunch of snapper and yellowtails and hogfish than catch a bunch of grouper.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, hogfish are fun. It's closer to shore. It's not a long run.
And it's action.
Yeah,
You know what
non-stop
I'm saying?
action.
It's just every time you either drop it down to the bottom, you either have a fish on, or you lost your bait. it's one of those two. It's not sitting around and waiting.
Yeah.
I
And you
fishing
get so
lighter
many other.
tackle.
Yeah, like you can use your inshore rods.
That's what I use. I use the St. Croix, medium heavy action.
Same thing you
with like a
catch
5
snook
pound.
on.
A little bit bigger reel. I usually so I can have more drag, but I usually use like a 5,000 instead of like a 3,000.
Paul asked, should he bring big cut bait with him on the 39-hour trip, December 17th? Definitely. Mullet, mackerel, bonita. What?
Ladyfish.
Ladyfish is another good one. Yeah, anything real oily, stinky, smelly, something you can make a really big dead bait out of is always a good idea for the red snapper. Big bait, big fish.
50 wide.
Yeah, no, you don't need quite that big, but I like where your mind goes. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, how do I catch a big red snapper? Red snapper are so aggressive and prolific that when you get on them, if you drop a bait down, you're going to catch a snapper. But you don't want that 16, 18, 20-inch fish. You want the big one, right? So I always tell people, use a big hook, like a 10-aught hook. Use 80-pound test, and use a big piece of bait, like a 10, 12-inch piece of bait that's nice and oily and thick and stinky, and drop it down there till you can't see it, and then slow it down and drop at the bottom real slow, and you're going to get that big sow red snapper. Be selective for a bigger fish. So bigger bait, you're going to have that chance for that bigger
You
fish.
can't get the big cut bait, put like 2 or 3 squid on one hook,
Yeah.
squid,
Yeah.
and drop that down.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Some people like to double up too, like a strip of squid and a thread fin kind of thing. But if you got it, the bonita, the ladyfish, the mackerel, you can use pretty much almost a whole ladyfish. Just cut the tail off of it and hook it through the eyes and drop it down real slow. Same thing with small mackerel. Bonita, you can kind of fillet out. But yeah, big red snapper, man. They love that big stinky bait.
Yeah, bonita. They love that red meat.
Oh yeah. And then you hook it through the skin, it stays on the hook forever.
Ever.
Because the skin's so tough.
Yeah.
You gotta like
Bonita
cut it
belly.
off.
Yeah.
Because all the meat will be gone, but the skin will still be hanging off your hook. You gotta use like scissors to get it off. It's crazy.
Do you find that the bigger red snapper tend to hang to the top of the school?
Yeah, top or bottom. So that's why with that big bait, you drop it down till you can't see it anymore, and then stop it with your thumb, and then just slowly drop that big dead bait down. And a lot of times you'll get them right up on the top of the school. Then you're not worried about breaking them off or anything like that, and it doesn't have to come up as far. Makes it a lot easier. If you end up hitting the bottom, a lot of times you're going to get a gag, or you run the risk of getting a shark. Whereas if you stay up in the water column, you're more likely to get that big red snapper.
And get him to the boat before the shark.
Exactly. It's a win-win-win. Yeah, I think that holds true with everything. Whether it's African pompano, amberjack, any species that hangs up off the bottom, the biggest ones are typically at the top or bottom of that school, that water column, in my opinion.
Well, they don't have to stay so close to the structure because they're a lot larger fish, so they're not, so much worried about the predators as the smaller fish are.
Yeah, and they're more aggressive generally too. So they see that big premium piece of bait coming down, they're gonna be the big dog to go up there and eat it.
For sure.
We're back. Bartow for Real Animals Radio. Talking fishing this morning with Chris Myers from Ace Heating and Cooling. We've got Captain Travis Thompson from All Florida and myself, Captain Dylan Hubbard from Hubbard's Marina. And want to give a shout out to our friends over there at Ace Heating and Cooling. Chris's company has been in business for over 20 years now, and they have been the name you can trust in the heating and air conditioning business in Hillsborough County. Chris and his team service all brands. They do residential and commercial repairs, maintenance, and full replacements. They send out technicians, not salespeople, because they build that long-lasting customer relationship that'll hold up over time. Call 813-657-8818 or look them up online at brandonac.net to find out for yourself why Ace Heating and Cooling is the easy choice for the Real Animals fishing team. Been in business a while, man.
Yeah, since 2003.
That's awesome, man.
It's fun when we don't have to talk about him like he's not here, right?
Yeah. Normally we do.
This is the part where we're like, and he fishes, he hunts, like he's an outdoors guy. Like,
no, but he's proved it.
Yeah.
He's here in the flesh. That's awesome, man. So you guys staying busy this time of year with the heating stuff?
When it gets cold like it has been and sticks around, we do run a lot of heating calls.
Yeah, I loathe having to put the heat on, but this is the time of year where you need it.
Yeah, and just check it out. A lot of people don't like to put their heat on. They put on jackets or whatever, but not as busy as summertime, but definitely check it out. When you want it, you want to make sure it's going to work.
Test it. Go ahead and test it one morning.
Exactly.
And this is the time of year as well to don't forget about your AC, because a lot of people do. And this is the time of year I'll slip up on the drain maintenance or making sure the filters are clean, all that good stuff. And then all of a sudden you come into spring and it starts getting hot and you're like, oh no. And then that's when you're busy. It's hard to get on the schedule.
Definitely. Filters are really important during the heating season because a lot more important than cooling. Obviously you want to change your filter every month, but it's It's more damaging to your system if you have low airflow when it's heating. It'll cause damage to your compressor or a lot of
Because it gets hot?
Yeah.
Is that why?
Head pressure goes up. And You definitely want to keep up on the filters in the wintertime. Drain lines, not so much. We're not pulling humidity out of the air. It's dry. You're not running your air conditioner as much, but definitely filters.
That's interesting. So I don't have to be as disciplined with my drain line this time of year.
No. But make sure it's ready for spring.
Yeah, that's important. It's so crazy how that stuff gets so plugged up. And a lot of people don't realize the drain line has to be cleaned. Like, I didn't know that growing up. Like, when
You
I got
usually
my
learn
home.
that when your pan overflows into your attic and then you have to replace drywall and everything else. You're like, oh, I need to probably regularly do maintenance on this.
Yeah.
I would say
mine's
each
in
one
the
of my
garage.
trucks all summer long will run at least 2 calls that are drain lines.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's very, very common.
Yeah.
And it's preventable.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
Just doing maintenance, like you said, even bleach or vinegar down the drain line. I mean, all you got to do is take a shop vac out there and clean your drain line out once in a while, and that'll.
Do you actually have to do that if you keep up with the bleach, though?
Not necessarily if you keep up with the bleach, but you know you want to make sure that your drain line's clean. So the only way to do that is clean out the shop vac, blow it out with nitrogen or whatever. Almost everybody has a shop vac in their house.
Yeah. So you do have to do the shop vac method, even if you're keeping up with the bleach.
I would recommend it at least once or twice a year.
All right, I'm slipping up. There you
Yeah,
go.
why don't you keep up or call
I
Ace and get them out
I
there?
I was disciplined with the bleach and I'd be good, but
Hey, you even know about it, so that's the first step.
yeah, it is. Well, I know about it because my AC cut off early on in home ownership. My AC cut off, like the thermostat wasn't lighting up, and I was like, why isn't the thermostat on? And I thought it was some problem with my battery and the thermostat, but my
float switch.
Yeah, that's what it was. Got me.
You'd be amazed how many people don't even know they have a filter.
Well, I'm not that bad, thankfully. So, yeah, I have one of those big 5-inch filters. So
That's good.
Yeah, it's nice, but I don't have to change it out as much.
No, every 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I still.
That's what I do too.
Pretty disciplined about it.
I got those.
Yeah, those are nice.
Write the date on it when you install it.
That's the trick, making sure you don't forget.
Yeah.
Because every month is easy to remember.
I think I just changed that last month, and you go back and look at the date, and it was like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
Or 1998.
In Travis's case.
Yeah.
So you got to stay up on the AC systems or give you guys a call. Do you have a maintenance plan?
Of course. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
but
have
that's the thing to do, man. Just call them and have them come do the maintenance.
Yeah, we come out twice a year, do full
Nice.
cleanings on the systems.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can just
$16 a month.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Get enrolled and forget.
Yeah. Set
That's
it and forget
beautiful.
it.
I like that.
Then you're not like Dylan out there with your shop vac or not using your shop vac like you're supposed to.
Or just guessing at it.
Yeah, just making it up as you go along.
Rolling with the punches, baby. That's how we do it. Well, hopefully we'll hear from you guys on the other side. Remember, 1-800-969-9352 to join the conversation. You can also follow AC and Cooling on Facebook. That's a great place to get my reminders. I see you guys posting like, oh yeah, Draymond, go pour bleach in that. So follow them on Facebook and all the other social media as well. We'll be right back after this. Bartow Ford, Real Animals Radio. Stay tuned.
Cameron's all right. I like to give him a hard time. Whataburger is unmatched. What are you talking about in the comments?
Whataburger is incredible. Have you not had a Whataburger?
Can you put your headphones on that side of the table? I've had Whataburger a few times. Whenever I go to fishery meetings, like out of Florida, like especially if I'm driving I-10 to Mobile or Biloxi, I always hit them up just because we don't have them around
That's
here.
what I'm saying. It's a really good fast food burger.
It is.
I don't
Yeah,
think I've
they do.
ever had one.
We used to have one in Lakeland. There's one in North Lakeland and it closed.
I know everybody used to rave about Crystal, then I tried it when it came to Plant City or something. That was nasty.
I'm not a Crystal guy. That's
No.
garbage.
Yeah.
That's hot garbage.
Yeah, that's not even food, bro.
Yeah.
That's
If you're
like a hot
listening and
dog.
you like Crystal, you're
That's
just,
like a hot dog.
you're uncultured. If
Travis
you
is
like Crystal.
ignoring me.
I feel like you have been making bad hot dog decisions in your life. Is what I think.
No, I like hot dogs. I just like giving you a hard time about it. Oh, everybody's waking up now. Got 3 on the line.
Oh heck yeah!
Yes, sir.
About time for Captain Jim, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them. Conjured him up. I was out of the gym for like 2.5 weeks because my shoulder was giving me pain. So I finally got back in the gym this past week, and brutal. Hurting, sore, and bro, I was out of the gym for 2.5 weeks. That's it. But I lost probably 30% of where I was at my strength.
Really?
So annoying. So annoying.
That's crazy fast.
Dude, it's nuts. I was doing 225 on bench for like 12 reps. I got back in the gym and could hardly
You
do
stopped doing
7.
roids?
What?
You stopped doing roids?
I wish. No, I haven't messed with that yet. One of these days. It's not off the table, Travis. Yeah, it's crazy, man. You stop for a second, lose it.
Yeah, that's why.
Even running and walking, you stop running or walking for a little bit, and you lose your ability. So
when I
fast.
tore my calf a few weeks back, that's why I kept going. Like I was going and just doing the rowing machine and stuff just for the cardio because I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't play basketball.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to lose the stamina that I built up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something to be said. What do they call it? They call it like moving rest or something like that. Active rest, that's the term, where you're doing like really light, slower, more concentrated movement, but at least you're still moving and you don't lose it as much, or if at all.
You shamed us both into taking our jackets off.
I didn't do that. The
commenters did because of you.
As soon as I walked in here, I was hot. And the reason I didn't have my jacket on when we came in here is because I was late. I've been rushing. I rushed to set all this stuff up. You guys were just chilling and having a nice conversation.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, talking fishing.
I would have kept my jacket on,
we were talking hunting.
Yeah. So I was overheated.
No, when it's below 70, I got to put on socks and a jacket.
Yeah. I would have had socks on if I had woken up earlier. I would have had socks and shoes and a nice jacket. I sprinted out of my house.
I hate the cold weather.
Yeah, it's the worst. This time of year, people are like, "Oh, I'm so happy it's cool now." It makes me want to strangle them. I don't mind it being cool, but in Florida, it doesn't get cool without crap weather.
Right.
Yeah.
And crap weather is not good for what we do.
It's pretty good for what I do.
Yeah, whatever.
This is the time of year when your back seat just gets filled up with jackets because you put your jacket on in the morning and then you take it off and leave it in your truck, and then the next morning you got to put a jacket on again. So like, my entire wardrobe's probably in the back seat of my truck right
so
now.
I feel that. Same with me.
We've got an art gallery booth set up at the Orange Blossom Review this weekend.
Yeah.
And so I went out there to help them set all that stuff up yesterday, and I wore shorts and a t-shirt. And then I got sucked into staying for the concerts and like hanging out.
Oh, it got cold last night.
It got cold. I was like, oh, hold on. I went to my truck and I was just like, I need this. I had it all in there.
Prepared.
Yeah. I could have brought.
The reverse is also true though. Like the other day, I wore jeans to work, and I was all decked out because it was cold in the morning. But then I wanted to go to the gym, and I had forgot to put shorts back in the truck. So now I'm in jeans heading to the gym. I was like, dang it.
No, I got a gym bag in my truck at all times.
Yeah, I need to stay strapped as well. They had caught me slipping for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't bring my bag to show you. I gotta bring you my bag and show it to you.
Yeah, I didn't bring mine this morning either. I thought about it because I figured you were going to ask me. But ever since I went on that trip, all my firearms got moved around and in and out of bags. You know.
Oh, that stinks.
It sucks going on a plane. It makes me nervous every time.
It makes me so nervous.
Because there's so many firearms and so many different bags.
So
I'm like double, triple checking. Then you get there and they're making announcements.
Even going to any event nowadays, it like messes me up because I don't even think about my pocket knife. But like so many places won't even let you have a pocket knife.
That's why I switched to like
I've buried
cheaper
many a
knives.
pocket knife in bushes outside of events.
I was going to Disney with my daughter or something for a volleyball tournament, and she wanted to go to Disney Springs, and I couldn't even have a pocket knife in there, so I'm like hiding it behind a Coke machine because I got like my Benchmade, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, $150 knife. You don't want.
I had a.
It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. I don't know.
I had a bag with a firearm and a big knife in it. We were walking between hotels, but apparently that's Disney property. So there's like security patrolling, and they saw me, and they tried to call me over to like do a bag search. I was like, no. And they're like, well, you can't be here unless you consent to bag searches. I was like, well, I'm leaving. And luckily, I got out of the line and they didn't follow me or hassle me about it, because apparently you can get kicked out for life if they find you with that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Hubbard's Marina, hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
We're back, Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Show, talking fishing this morning and hunting and so much more, and hopefully hearing from you as well. 1-800-969-9352 to join the conversation. We've got a full board coming up. We've got a lot of great callers on the line, so stay tuned with us. But first, we want to give a shout out to our friends at Innovative Pools and Spa. With over 35 years of experience building pools in the Tampa Bay area, they continue the legacy of their father's company, recognized as a top pool builder in the Tampa Bay area for 35 years. Plus, they continue to raise the bar in pool construction, design, and features. And they have an unparalleled passion for the industry with a deep-rooted commitment to the community, unwavering dedication to excellence, and they uphold a high standard of pool construction and integrity. Call them today at 727-788-1650 or visit them online at innovativepoolsandspa.net. With that, we've got Captain Jim Fogle on the line for our safe boating tip of the week. What's going on, Captain Jim? How are you this morning?
Morning, Jim.
Hey, guys. Great. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Going to be nice to be inside today, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Little chilly out there.
Tis. It's showing 50 on the end of my dock out there, so that's I'm about 10 miles an hour. Not terrible. All right, guys. I'm going to go over some things today that I've been over before, but I'm scared to death somebody's going to get hurt here
Yes,
before
sir.
long.
Go for
Number
it.
one, briefing your passengers. Now, I'm talking about both recreation and commercially. You know, if you're going out with your buddies or your friends or your neighbors and they don't go out with you very often, you need to talk to them about holding on, about the 3 points of contact, about staying low in the boat when, and being seated and paying attention, helping you out as an observer also. But especially for commercial boats, and I don't care if they're inspected or uninspected, you really need to brief those passengers. I know sometimes when you're doing several trips a day, or you're doing things like water taxis, it gets old, but that's the way it goes. You've got to brief your passengers.
It's actually a Coast Guard
Also,
regulation.
Yeah, I think it's required, isn't it, by the Coast Guard?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely is. It is. Okay, now this one's even worse. Leaving the helm with the engine running. Okay? You guys certainly know better than that, and that's just a really bad accident waiting to happen.
Amen to that.
And lastly, leaving the helm with the engine in gear. Okay? That's
not a good idea.
That's definitely not a good idea. So let's pay attention to that sort of thing. I know sometimes when you get into routines, you get lazy, if you will, or you're tired. You still got to maintain a safe boat, and you don't want any of your passengers. You don't want you don't want your boat. You don't want your crew. You don't want anybody hurt. So let's pay attention to those kind of things. If you see it happening, try to remind the people that are doing it that it's not a good idea. We just don't need that sort of stuff.
Yes, sir. Everybody's got to work together, keep everybody accountable. And like you do. I mean, a lot of this stuff we've heard before. You should know not to leave the wheel when the engine's in gear, but it's always a good reminder to put it back on the forefront,
Yeah, hopefully so.
Yes, sir.
And we've had a couple of rescues in the last few weeks, and happily, I haven't heard of anybody being lost out there or injured. And several of these occasions, if not all of them, they've been rescued because they had either an EPIRB or a personal locator beacon on them, and so they were much easier to find.
Yes,
and
sir.
out there searching around in the dark.
This time of year, you want to
So-
make sure you have that PLB because you don't want to be in the water long this time of year. You think the air's cold, sitting in that cold water long, you're a goner.
Absolutely. All right, guys, you keep up the good work. The Coast Guard Auxiliary in St. Pete. This is Jim Fogel. Be safe out there.
Thank you, Captain Jim. We appreciate you, my friend. Always a good, safe boating tip of the week, and just put it back on the forefront. Remind you.
I always felt like weird doing a safety briefing on when I was running charters fishing.
Yeah.
Because it's like awkward, like the guys or whatever, but it takes 2 minutes. And I got to where I would just say, look, this is weird, but I'm required to do this. So I'm just going to go through the safety stuff real quick. Here's the fire extinguisher. Here's the life jackets. Here's the, like.
And that's what I was going to say. Everybody's boat is different, and a lot of the safety gear isn't out readily available, like where they can see it. So this is the compartment where the life jacket's at. This is where the EPIRB's at. If we have to bail the boat, here's the ditch bag. This has to come with us. All those things, pointing that out to them. I think it's a great idea.
And I always diffused it with humor. Like, for the most part of today, if something happens and you fall over, stand up.
Yeah. You'll be okay. Yeah, but it's important, too, because you never know, like, as the captain of the vessel or your crew, like, yeah, you guys know where that stuff is, but God forbid something happens and you're the one that's hurt or incapacitated.
Well, and there's the other domino. We've both done this commercially. Like, even, like, you're a business owner, you got stuff to lose. I don't want to deal with the insurance fallout of not having done that either. So, like, I try to take if it's required of me, I try to do everything I can do to make sure that we've covered all those bases.
Gotta walk the line.
It's a designated person, too. So, like, if you were incapacitated
lookout.
or hurt, hey, if something happens to me, this is who's taking the boat over.
Yeah, somebody to take over. Yeah.
It's always a good idea. We've got Freed from Minnesota on the line asking, when's the best time to fish for a 15-pounder? I would assume you're talking bass, right, Freed?
Well, basically any kind of fish. We don't get to fish as much as you folks do down there. And I've got a grandson who I want to introduce to fishing.
Okay.
But he's too young to go on a 44-hour full moon trip, which I'd like to do. And the problem is, there's so many different times of the year that you can go fishing, and I'd like to know what the best time is, because I go down to Florida quite often, primarily Tampa, St. Pete's, Johns Pass area.
Best part of Florida.
Yeah, that's right. And you want to get that kid hooked on fishing. The thrill of the rod, bending where they can reel it up. But Grandpa also likes to fish, and but I want to get my little buddy hooked on it, to say. So, what would be the best time to come out? I mean, you've probably, I know you're from Wisconsin. You've probably been on a site where you get a lot of panfish, and you're reeling them up as soon as you cast the bait in. You got one on the hook.
Yeah.
And I'll just shut up and listen to you guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Mike's the one who's from Wisconsin. I'm born and raised in Florida, fourth generation. I have not enjoyed a Wisconsin winter, thank God. But
I've enjoyed a Wisconsin winter, but not anything to do with fishing.
Well, Freed, before you hang on and listen to us, how old is your grandson that we're talking about here?
He's going to be 3 pretty soon. So
3 years old. All right. So with a 3-year-old trying to put him on a bigger fish, I would say this time of year, I would probably gear towards more bass fishing. Because, I mean, for us offshore to get to a 15-pound fish, you definitely would have to go on a longer trip to get out there pretty far. And that would be tough on a 3-year-old, and he's a little too young for that. You could stay in the bay and try to hunt some of those catch and release gags. It's not something we do, but that's something anybody with a boat could do. If you're shore-based, that limits you a little bit. If you're shore-based, I would say definitely probably bass fishing would be the biggest thing, I would say.
When it comes to
what's your
kids,
guess,
too,
Chris?
what I would say with kids is not so much the size of the fish, it's just the action.
Yeah.
And like we were talking earlier, like one of those near-shore trips where there's just constant action with shrimp, snapper, hogfish, stuff that they could easily reel in. A 15-pound fish, like you said, it would be really tough for a 3-year-old to get that into a boat.
Well, no, that's basically my own selfishness, where I'd be looking for something a little bit bigger. But where I wouldn't get completely bored just fishing for smaller fish.
I can tell you this, Freed, as an angler, I would say I'm a little experienced, and I've been doing it a little bit. And I can say that fishing with my 3 and 5-year-old kids and watching them catch 3-inch long mangrove snapper off the dock I'll never get bored of that.
That's the most fun.
It is the most fun.
It's the most fun.
So I would say if you haven't tried it yet, I would say, like Chris said, try that panfish trip, try that nearshore gray snapper, maybe hogfish trip. Try just going out there and getting him a lot of action, because that's going to keep his interest. That's going to keep the action going. That's what gets him started on getting hooked on fishing.
Our buddy Jonathan Moss, who's a member of Florida Guides Association with Dylan and I, he just texted me. He said, tell him to come fish with me in February for those big black drum on the East Coast.
That's a good one.
They get a lot of those big black drum. You don't want to eat them.
Yeah.
But, man, they are fun to catch.
Oh, they're bulls.
Yeah, and he's talking 20 to 50-pound class fish. So, like, that would be.
Bring my kids over to
that'd
see Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly.
Captain Jonathan Moss. That's a good one. All right. There you go. I think that's the best answer.
Thank you.
No problem, my friend. Appreciate the phone call. Thanks for calling in. All the way from Minnesota.
Big uglies.
Big uglies. See you, Freed. Always a good time to hear from new callers as well. We've also got Capt Mike Perry on the line. We're going to have to get to him on the other side. I don't want to rush him too much. Make sure you check out our friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. Whether you need a shingle, metal tile, or flat roof, our friends at Affordable Roofing Systems are your safest choice for repairs or replacements. With over 3 decades of roofing experience, on Affordable Roofing Systems guide you through that important process. They're defined by integrity, respect, and honesty. They have a professional approach to doing business. Call 888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Right underneath the Courtney Campbell at night, and pin rods, and just catching just monster black drum.
Yeah. The Courtney Campbell seems to be like the hot spot, that and the Howard Franklin. But the Howard Franklin, I think, is ruined with all that construction right now.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a spot under the bridge where I would drop like cinder blocks and stuff like that.
Isn't it funny how we
out there.
we grow up and we get over like catching those kind of fish, and then like I totally would have not thought of black drum until he texted me, and I was like, dude, that'd be so much fun with a kid, like just wearing them out on
Captain
big fish.
Jonathan Moss with the save.
Yeah, but like I haven't taken a client to fish for black drum in eons, and I'm like, dude, that would be a fun. Because we used to do the same thing. We'd go catch blue crabs, and my granddaddy would always cut them in half. I don't know why, but he would always cut them in half, and we'd pitch them up there. And
I fished with Jonathan one time over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Complete jerk, isn't he?
No, he was a good dude. I actually helped him change a tire on his trailer. We were heading over. Our trip to Louisiana got canceled, so my buddy and I were like, "Hey, let's just run over here and we'll just pick up some captains." And we caught him. We were coming down I-4, and there was a skiff broke down on the side of the road. I was like, "That looks like the guy we're supposed to be fishing with." So we stopped and turned around. He had flat tires, so we helped him change his tire out on the skiff, and then met him at the boat ramp.
That's hilarious.
He's a great dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. It was fun.
Great dude.
We didn't get on any big fish, but it was a good time.
That looks like the guy we're supposed to fish with.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's an Eastcape, right?
He does a lot of bass fishing too now.
He lives in Orlando area, then trailers over there, right?
Yeah, but that's not unheard of for that part of the world.
I was surprised when we were trying to find captains to fish with over there. Most of them lived in like Lakeland and Orlando and stuff like that. That were just trailering over to fish, Mosquito Lagoon and stuff like that.
Living in Lakeland and trailering to Mosquito Lagoon sounds like a nightmare to go through Disney every day.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
No, thank you.
If you live on that east side of Orlando, that's not bad
that's
at
where
all.
Moss is.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
There's some beautiful area over there. The only reason I do,
yeah,
yeah, the only reason I drive through Orlando is because I have kids.
Dude, it's
I have to go to that Disney thing at least once.
The crazy thing is, I think you could make I-4 74 lanes wide.
And it wouldn't help.
It wouldn't help. It would just clog everyone closer to it.
Yeah. Every time they add a lane, you're like, yes, and then 6 months later, it's full.
I always joke it's going to be a nice city when they finish building
it. You're one to talk. Polk is the fastest growing county in the state now.
It's outlandish.
Imperial Polk County is perpetually under construction now.
I have to use my GPS to drive around my hometown because I don't know what roads are going to be closed.
That's crazy.
I used all the cuss words I knew yesterday trying to get to Lake Wales. Like I got there and there was roads closed for the concert deal, and then so I went back to downtown to kind of cut through, and downtown's all under construction and dug up, so I had to drive around that. And then my GPS took me down this one road that a church had blocked off for something, and I was like, I did not feel the Holy Spirit move through me as I was just trying to get to a concert.
That's hilarious.
All the cuss words.
Do you use Spotify to play music?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta see his Wrapped playlist. So Travis claims he's a big Taylor Swift person.
I am a big Taylor Swift person.
And he's claimed
No lies detected.
No, he's claimed this, and he's had the little friendship bracelets, and he's talked about Taylor Swift. I thought he was full of shit, man. I thought he was just saying
number
that.
one played song?
Yeah. No, number one played artist.
Number one played artist all year, bro.
I'm consistent.
That's crazy.
She's banger after
crazy.
banger.
My kids were doing that the other day in the car. We never did my phone, but they were.
Oh yeah, we got to see yours.
How many minutes they listened in, all
it's
that
nuts.
stuff.
We're back, Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio, talking fishing this morning with Captain Travis Thompson of All Florida and Chris Myers from the great Ace Heating and Cooling over in Hillsborough County. We also would love to hear from you as well. 1-800-969-9352 to join the conversation. We've got our good friend Capt Mike Perry from Big Pine Key holding on the line. We're going to get to him very shortly as well. But first, if you're looking for a great Christmas idea for the angler in your life, Relentless Perpetual Edge Knives. It's the world's first self-sharpening knife that sharpens as it cuts. Ultra hard carbide, never rust titanium blade with true grit glass reinforced ABS handle on a knife that is perfectly balanced and comes in 5 great models to choose from. Take the work out of filleting a pile of fish today. Get a Relentless knife at relentlessknivesusa.com. Find out for yourself why this is a knife all the pros are talking about. Definitely a great gift idea.
Oh, knife's always a great gift idea.
Always.
Always a great gift idea.
Every year, without fail, I buy my father a pocket knife. He could be listening right now, and it doesn't matter because, dude loses pocket knives. It's not even funny. So I get him a pocket knife. It's the greatest gift ever because I know I can always get him one, and I know he always needs it.
I just ordered a knife for somebody as a thank you gift.
Yeah.
It was a skinny knife.
Yeah.
I didn't get a Relentless. I would have. They're coming out with one.
I've got a couple knives from you.
Yeah. I love knives are great gifts.
100%.
Because a pocket knife, I'm like my father. I lose them a lot too. So,
Same.
Yeah, it happens.
Same.
The Benchmades are nice, but it hurts a lot more when you use that.
I had a custom Benchmade my kids gave me for Christmas 10 years ago, and I know geographically roughly where it is.
Geographically.
Did you drop a pin?
Yeah, I can drop a pin, and we've gone back with a metal detector, but it was carbon fiber. I'm like, we're never going to find this thing. I was hoping one of the screws would click or something, but
I know geographically roughly where it is.
Couldn't find it.
That's a great one.
So I was like a $300 knife, $400. I don't know what it was. It was expensive, and it's gone. So I don't do that anymore.
Man, sorry to hear that. That's tough. That's a rough one for sure. We've got Capt Mike Perry on the line. I'm trying to go to Capt Mike Perry, but he seems awfully grayed out. I can't. Oh, there it goes. What's going on, Capt Mike Perry? How are you this morning,
Capt
buddy?
Mike.
I'm grayed out, huh?
Yeah, now you're not, though. So you're in there.
Okay.
How you doing, buddy?
Listen, I'm doing great. Been busy since I got back down south from Thanksgiving from, Pasco County for the holidays and back down the place down here.
Mm-hmm.
Been very busy. Travis, first time you've been on since the boat. Thank you. Just real quick, thank you again for all you did. Fantastic job.
Amen.
I had family members that listened to the show calling me to ask me the same questions, but I just want to say thanks again. And
appreciate it, buddy.
Chris, let me tell you something. I've had the worst happen with the AC. Come home from vacation after spending thousands of dollars, and the AC's done. So, folks, maintain that air conditioner or heater if you need the heat too as well.
And it always breaks
just
on
wanted-
Friday.
Always breaks on Friday.
Friday, or
Or
right
when
when
you
you
have
get back
people
from
over.
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have a house full of guests and a party, that's when the AC kicks off.
The fishing has been great in the Keys. When the wind lays down, it just depends. You got to talk to your crew. You got to know their sea legs. You really, especially being an offshore guy, you really got to know who you're taking out. And but the fish has been great. The snapper fishing, mutton, mangoes, and yellowtail. The hogfish, they're up and down the Keys. It seems like we get them almost year round, but just traditionally the state of Florida, the cooler weather gets them kicked up. And the pelagics, the wahoo, blackfin tuna, we're seeing bigger kingfish, sailfish. It's that time of year to come get a billfish. If you want a shot at a billfish, now's the time probably through the end of April is the best time. Real quick, I've got a different question. That's for Travis. Not a question, but a statement. I was up Pasco County Thanksgiving, and when I work as a nurse, I work at Tarpon Springs, and I use Memorial Highway back there by Anclote River State Park.
Okay.
I'm driving a couple days to get my nurses shifts in. I see a bunch of people in waders waiting at the park entrances, waiting at different places for the sunlight to come up. And I'm thinking, man, there must be a heck of a redfish bite on. I pull over on Thanksgiving Day because I had to work Thanksgiving morning as a nurse. And I said, is there a good redfish bite going on? The guy opens the trunk. He said, we're duck hunters. And I said, really? He goes up and down. He said, every truck you see the last few days, we're all duck hunters.
Huh.
I didn't know that they had a great duck hunting in that area.
Pete, we go where the ducks are, buddy. Wherever the ducks are, that's where you'll find us.
That's
Travis,
a great point.
they were packed. It looked like a parking lot all the way down Memorial. And then I see, as the gate opens one day here, the FWC truck pulls in, and parks, and he's checking everybody before they go out when they come in. So it was pretty interesting for a guy who's not into hunting, just observing the outdoors and hunting side.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I got a question for you real quick. It's cool down there in Big Pine, right? This morning?
Yeah, it's 59 right now.
Are iguanas falling out of trees yet? Are we at that point?
Not yet.
No.
Not
Okay.
yet. No, it's gotta be. I believe the magic temperature is 52, and it's got to be for 4 to 5, 6 hours overnight.
That's
and
what we
will
needed.
Fall out of trees.
We do weather report. Like I felt like we needed a iguana precipitation report.
Yes. Dude, it's
Yes,
wild down there in the
Miami.
Keys.
Miami gets the real. Miami does get some colder weather. Obviously, they're further north than I am. They really get the falling iguanas because they just. I think I've seen it happen a couple handfuls of times down here, but if it's that cold here, it's going to happen wherever iguanas are in the rest of the state. They're going to fall out of trees.
It's quiet.
And boy, let me tell you,
Is there-
eradicate them, folks.
Is there
You
more-
Get your hands on them, eradicate them.
Is there more iguanas now than there has been?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and they're moving north.
the neighbor kids, Monroe County has like the great iguana hunt, like the snake hunt. The kids next door ask permission from every homeowner. If we see an iguana, they have the air guns, and they're great with them, and bang, bang, they'll get them.
All right, Mike, we're up against the break, man. How would someone get a hold of you real quick?
It's 813-434-8086, CaptainMichael47gmail.com, 1-866-GAME-FISH. And listen, if you want to bring kids, that guy from Wisconsin, bring kids fishing to the Keys. I have a neighbor who's a captain who specifies in taking little children out on the boat. So
That's
get
awesome.
my number and give me a holler.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. Always good to hear from him. Hopefully, we'll hear from you on the other side. 1-800-969-9352. Real Animals Radio. We'll be right back.
Cudjoe. Right, just on the other side of the pond. We have a little place down there, so we were down there with the kids when they got out of school. But you don't see the iguanas as much right now. You'd think they'd be out sunning and everything more so than anything.
Yeah.
But you see them I see them more in the summertime out than anything. I don't know what they hide out.
Dude, when we went down there for that FWC commission meeting, holy hell, were there a lot of things.
What time of year was that?
It was September.
Yeah,
It was nuts, bro.
all over the place.
I've been down to the Keys in June because they normally have a golf council meeting in Key West every year, and they haven't for the last 2 or 3 years. It's returning there this year in June. But driving down US 1 in June, we'd see a couple here and there. But when we went down for that FWC meeting, it was like every 20 feet was another iguana on the side of the road.
So many of them.
It seems to be really thick from like Marathon south. I mean, they're all over the place and all over the Keys, but man, as soon as you see that little lighthouse there on the side of the road when you hit Marathon, it's there's always just iguanas both sides of the road all the way down.
It's strange to me. When you just said that, I hadn't thought about it. Like, I tend to see more alligators when it's cold because they'll get up on banks.
Yeah.
Like, they have to regulate. So they'll, like, when you get a cold front that comes through and then you get those sunny days after, but it's, like, cold.
Yeah.
I'll see
Tons of
gators everywhere. Like, that's when I scout for gators to figure out what gators we have.
Yeah.
I don't see iguanas do that the same way. Like, now that you say that.
No, when they're in the wintertime, you just don't see them as much. But you'd think they'd be out laying on that sidewalk and everything.
Do they burrow?
I don't know. I don't know much about them. They get in trees and stuff, so maybe they're laying out up in trees.
Huh.
I do know that we've got them, like, they're established in Clewiston. They're that far north now. Like, there's a good population of them there. And I just think it's going to keep going north.
That's crazy.
Like, so a good cold front could knock them back a little bit, though. That'd be great.
Good winter.
I've never eaten them, but I know people that do.
I do too. I just don't think I'm going to clean an iguana.
Seems like a lot of work.
I've shot a bunch of them, but I'm not going to clean one.
Yeah, I don't know what the regulations are with that down there with the air rifles. I mean, can you just go on and shoot them on the side of the road?
I don't know about roadway because I don't know what the municipal regulations are or anything else.
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid, I walked around my neighborhood with an air gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always used to joke around though when we'd go down to the Keys, we'd like jump on the golf cart with an air rifle and
pop 'em.
and just start shooting them. But I don't know if that's frowned upon or not.
What will happen is I think most people
Better to ask forgiveness than
I think most people wouldn't care, but you'd run into Karen from somewhere else that like feeds them orange slices on her back porch, and she's upset because you shot Icky.
Yeah.
When they get big though, they get colorful.
Yeah, the big orange ones. And
one of our FGA members, Justin Gwynn, down there in southeast Florida, he does those invasive hunts, and he's also, I'm gonna butcher it, Southeast Asia somewhere, Vietnam, Thailand. He's from somewhere over there, I forget where. But dude, he will take you on an invasive hunt and then clean the iguanas and then make these dishes. And he posts his hunting and his fishing posts, but he also posts a lot of food photos.
Looks pretty fire.
So a kill and cook?
Yeah, I want to go down there just to like hang out with him.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. He's also working on a lodge. Again, I forget. It's either Thailand or Vietnam but I forget where, but he's a lodge that you will be able to go and fly over and hang out and fly fish for these crazy species of fish. Yeah.
Do we have to fly fish?
I don't think so. I'm sure you don't have to. I'm not a fly fisherman either, but
I'll make fun of fly fishermen.
yeah, apparently that's his thing.
There's Donald. I was wondering why we hadn't heard
Yeah,
from Donald.
Cast-a-Line Fly Fishing Charters. That's the name of his business. Cast-a-Line Fly Fishing Charters. Cast-a-Line Fly Charters.
Yeah, this time of year in the Keys, if you can't get offshore, it's October, November is my favorite time to go mutton fishing down there. I mean, because they'll come in the cuts and everything, and you can catch them in 15, 20 foot of water.
Yeah.
Just massive muttons.
That's awesome. We're getting a lot of muttons. The last trip we got a 12-pounder.
That's nice.
Yeah. What's going on, Robert Mahan? Robert Mahan?
Neil Taylor passed away?
That's what Donald just said, right?
Huh, I didn't know that. Hold on, Neil.
Sad to see. Paul Brown said he's cleaned many a deer with a case pocket knife.
Oh, yeah, you can, yeah, 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
But a good skinning knife is hard to beat, like a good sharp skinning knife. Like
With a gut hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's money.
The deer I shot 3 weeks ago, that guy cleaned it and gutted it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did it. They had all the stuff, and I didn't mind them doing it at all because I needed to get on a plane and didn't want to do laundry the next morning before I had to leave at 4 a.m. But anyway, their knives were kind of crappy.
Oh yeah.
So I ordered them a really nice cleaning knife that'll hold a good edge.
Oh, that's cool.
And what is that?
I'm a Montana Knife Company guy.
Okay.
MKC they
have really nice knives.
They make
I've heard of them
really
before.
nice knives. Really nice.
I like a good fixed blade knife. Not that I carry a fixed blade knife, not that I ever use it, but I have a really nice SOG and I have a really nice Benchmade fixed blade knife. They're always cool.
Yeah, check out Montana Knife Company.
Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
We're back, Bartow Ford, Real Animals Radio. Captain Dylan Hubbard here. We've also got Chris Myers from Ace Heating and Cooling and Captain Travis Thompson from All Florida in studio this morning. Speaking of Ace Heating and Cooling, for over 20 years, they've been a name you can trust in the heating and air conditioning business in Hillsborough County. Chris and his guys service all brands. They do residential and commercial maintenance and full replacements. They send out technicians, not salespeople, because they try to build that long-lasting customer relationship that'll hold up over time. Call them today at 813-657-8818 or look them up online at brandonac.net to find out for yourself why Ace Heating and Cooling is the easy choice for the Real Animals fishing team. Is that good? Should we add something to that? Did we cover it?
No, that's perfect.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
And if Mike was here, he'd say, plus he's a real fishy cat.
Yes, real fishy guy.
That's a fishy guy.
Yeah, that's Mike's favorite go-to for sure.
It's a great descriptor, though. Like you want to be called fishy.
Uh-huh.
Like not like a case in a bank. Like you want to be fishy. Like
you smell
catch
fishy.
fish. No, like you catch fish.
Or at least you're into it.
It has nothing to do with hygiene or you being like a criminal.
Yeah.
It has to do with you being like
It's
capable
It's the highest level of compliment from Mike Anderson.
Yeah, that's what I felt
It's a
like.
fishy cat.
I was like, I want Mike Anderson to call me fishy at some point. Like I'd put that in my obituary.
Nice. With that, we got Captain Van Hubbard on the line. What's going on this morning, Van?
It's refreshing out there.
Brisk. What?
That's a positive way of putting
Brisk.
it, Van.
Went down to Eldridge and got me some hand picks and get ready, pick up some people about 9:30 and go see if we can't find a few fat speckled trout for supper.
There you go.
Love it.
Yeah, it should be a good morning for it for sure. At least you didn't have to throw the
Beautiful
net. It's worth spending the money this morning on the bait.
Yeah, but $30 for 5 dozen shrimp was a surprise, but at least they're nice shrimp.
That is definitely a little bit of a surprise.
Are your iguanas falling from trees down there, Captain Van?
No, we've got a few around, but haven't seen any falling yet.
Okay. Just trying to get the update for everybody.
Yeah, it's getting there. This next cold front, it's supposed to get pretty low. It should definitely make them go to sleep a little bit, I think. Have you been seeing some big trout down there, Van? Or is today your first big
I
trout
haven't
hunt?
seen any big ones, but I've been seeing plenty of smaller ones. About 4 out of 5 are throwbackers, but 20%, 25% keepers, and you can get a mess to eat. And we're having a good time. I keep looking for some pompano, but I think that red tide out on the beaches, that background concentrations and stuff has screwed them up, and we didn't get much for mackerel this year. Everything went offshore between the weather and the conditions, but the trout population is looking real good. Hearing good redfish stories and seeing a few snooks still, so life could be life's pretty darn good.
Are the trout at a certain depth for you guys?
Deeper on the cool days, and when it warms up in the afternoons, they're coming up on the deeper grass flats looking for food. They're hungry.
Gotcha.
Nice.
a lot of people go chasing minnows this time of the year, and they're welcome too, but it's pretty foolish because if you're cleaning fish, you don't see any minnows in the belly. You see shrimps and little pinfish.
There it is.
That's
It's
good
that time of
advice.
year.
They switch over. Yeah.
As
Fish
it gets
switch over.
cold,
They're not going to work that hard. The minnow's too much work.
as it gets cold, a lot of people start switching to the shrimp because obviously they're a little bit more slower moving. It seems like the fish apt for 'em more, but at some point it seems to become more of a cut bait bite, right? For these redfish, like a lot of people start talking about that.
Absolutely for the redfish.
I prefer
And
cut
you'd
bait.
be surprised. Trout and stuff will eat cut bait just fine too.
Especially those big ones, those gators.
So that
Yeah.
switch
Yeah.
from shrimp to cut bait hasn't really happened yet, or you're already using cut bait?
I don't think there's
It's
really a
available
switch.
if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever.
You can use it. The redfish will bite the cut bait year round. The problem is in the summer you got the crabs and pinfish.
I got you.
Yep.
So this time of year,
Exactly.
the crabs and pinfish don't mess with it. That's why it becomes a better
They're
option.
dropping to deeper water and
Yeah.
staying warmer. Yes.
Interesting. Learn something new every day. What's your favorite redfish go-to, Chris? Bait-wise.
I'm artificial.
Artificial.
I love,
Strict.
yeah, I love artificial.
A purist, if you will. There it is. What's your favorite lure?
Just paddle tail, Z-Man, whatever.
Paddle tail.
Yeah.
What about you, Van? What are you going to throw for a redfish right now?
Hard to beat the old Johnson silver minnow in gold, about a quarter ounce. The secret with the silver minnow or with any bait for redfish is you want it bouncing around in the grass on the bottom like a crab or a shrimp. You know, it's like your grandfather taught me about pompano. If it's not kicking up sand, pompano ain't going to eat it when you're hopping it.
Yes, sir. Slow down and then slow down again.
You're not going to ask me?
Go ahead. What's your favorite?
A half a ladyfish in an ultra.
Oh, there you go. And
Sit back, an
make
ultra.
a-
Yeah.
ultra beat.
Yeah, like you sit back, you put it in a rod holder, and you hold on.
Nice.
That's the
Oh,
way
I
to go.
thought you put the ladyfish in the ultra and that did something for it.
No, I haven't tried that yet.
No, it'd probably take the stink off it. The ultra's like rinsing it down with water, right?
You guys throwing these artificials, man, that's a lot of work.
So you like hot dogs and Mick Ultra? I just wanted to clarify for the listeners. That's where we're at. Okay.
You got to add a beer when you boil your hot dogs.
Okay. Well, I don't know where to go from here.
Capt, man, I owe you a phone call. I'll holler at you either later today or tomorrow.
That'll be fine. Well, I'll be working till about 2.
All right, buddy.
But keep in touch and let's get together when we can. Y'all have a great day. If I don't talk to you before, have a Merry Christmas. Be safe, and let's go fishing.
Amen to that. Thank you, Van. Appreciate you, buddy. Good luck out there today.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure to hear from Van.
He's going to wreck the trout.
Yes.
He's going to wreck the trout.
It's amazing. He is still such at a high level.
He's
doing
the best,
what he's
man.
doing.
He was a
Crazy.
legend when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it. And
I don't know where he's at because it's like a mystical number for me. But, I mean, he's been in the business a minute and still performing at a high level, going out there. My dad went fishing with them down there, and he's walking on the gunnel of the boat, throwing a cast net, catching bait, and doing it. It's awesome.
Cut bait's better this time of year, too, because who wants to throw a cast net when it's 40 degrees in the morning?
that's where I'm at. dude.
My man. Work
I'm
smart, not
I'm all
hard.
for throwing whatever you want to throw, but the first ladyfish comes over the side, I'm like, oh, yeah, now we've got a ball game.
Yeah. Put
So
them
you
out
cut-
there on the flat,
Yeah.
catching ladyfish, put 4 of them in a live well, and
Yep.
and nobody had to get wet throwing a cast net.
Yep, I'm here for it, man. We can fish shrimp and catch some of those big pinfish and stuff. I'm here for it all day long.
And you would cut the pinfish, right?
I'll cut a pinfish. I'll cut his tail off usually.
Yeah.
And then peg him under a cork.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll even pull the cork under stuff, but I'll just set it with a light drag in the rod holder, and you'll know when you're hooked.
Let them eat.
Yeah, let them do their thing.
Gotcha.
That's money for those big redfish down in
You
the
get a
harbor.
lot of bonnet heads this time of year, right?
Yeah, but bonnet heads, in my experience, prefer shellfish. They do not prefer. I don't catch bonnet heads very often on pin. I've done it, but not very often.
Nice.
A black tip will hit a pinfish, but
I gotcha.
but not a bonnet head usually. And I'm talking like big pinfish, like hand sized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Nice. So cut pinfish, cut ladyfish, live shrimp, or the classical paddle tails.
Paddle tail.
My strategy is always when I'm using cut bait, I want it so big a catfish can't eat it.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a fun catfish to catch. Like one of those big sail cats is like
Yeah.
8 or 9 pounds. Yeah, I'll do that. But
When your
like,
bait just moves over 5 feet, you know it's not anything you want to set the
I
hook on.
want like half of a ladyfish. That's what I'll cut it in half, or I'll just cut like the tail off and pitch that over, and 3/4 of the ladyfish goes out there. Like I want a big bait.
And
that
if you're up in
stinks.
the trees, a lot of times you might even get a big snook that way.
Yeah, I have
too.
caught big snook on that stuff. But I'll often put cut bait under a bobber to keep it off the bottom.
Yeah.
Keep crabs and stuff from messing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I always have a cut bait out. No matter what I'm fishing, I always have a cut bait out. Always. And that's
Big
always
bait,
the
big
one we
fish.
take a picture with.
Yeah.
Big bait, big fish.
Yeah, we'll catch 30, 25-inch snook, and then we'll catch one 44-inch snook, and that 44-inch is always on the cut bait.
Yeah. Big ladyfish is a great snook bait.
Oh, gosh.
In John's Pass, you throw a cut ladyfish out there, you're going to get a monster snook or a tarpon. And it's going to be a big one. It's always a good time. It's definitely that time of year, too, to soak those big dead baits.
I don't think there's a bad time of year to do that.
Yeah. I feel like summer and winter are kind of like the times of year you hear more about cut bait inshore fishing.
I have a theory about that. I have a theory that when you get red tide fish kills and stuff, they switch off of cut bait. I feel like maybe the fish know somehow that like the dead stuff around is not as good. So it feels to me like there's a lag off cut bait or that kind of stuff after a red tide versus, but I always have a cut bait out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got mullet in my freezer right now just in case I want to take cut bait with me.
Stay stocked, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Do you have mullet in your freezer, Chris?
I do not.
Yeah. The purist.
Y'all aren't rednecks enough, man. I got mullet cleaned, ready to smoke, and I got mullet just in case I need some bait.
That's awesome. Yeah, some smoked mullet is awesome.
Yeah.
I love smoked mullet.
Yeah, you got to do it yourself, though.
Yeah.
Fried mullet, too. Do you eat the roe?
I'll eat it all, dude.
What color?
Yellow or white.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's hardcore.
Have you ever caught the mullet on the hook and line down on the rivers?
I've seen guys do it on a cane pole in Crystal River.
Yeah, I've gone and done that.
With the
and
bread
just,
balls?
Yeah.
We did it with gulp shrimp that we cut like, it looked like slices of oatmeal, like we staked it.
Huh.
And then we threw bread ball or oatmeal mix out there to like chum for them, and they'd swim through it, and you'd put your bait right in it. And I'll bet you last time we did it, we caught 150 mullet. It was unbelievable. And I cleaned mullet for days.
You can't cast at them there?
We wanted to catch them on a hook and line.
Oh, okay.
It was awesome, but they were all full of roe.
Yeah.
So I separated my roe out into different bags. I vacuum sealed it. I took some to my dad. I took some to I took it all over. I was giving roe away. But dude, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I always give it away.
Oh, you don't eat it?
You don't eat
That's
it?
a
It gets a little
delicacy.
gritty.
It is gritty.
It's
but
a
good.
delicacy, man. Like it's a
I don't know about the white roe, but I'm all about the yellow roe.
Never had the white roe, but I've definitely eaten yellow roe. It's very gritty, just not my thing.
Yeah.
But you take a mullet and you cut it 3 ways and you fry that backbone.
Oh my gosh.
That's money.
I also, you can tell the old timers of Florida because I will bleed mullet I'll bleed it.
100% you got to.
But I like the way mullet tastes if it's not bled. But like my wife's grandmother, she won't eat bled mullet. She was like, no, I'm
She's
not
a
eating that.
purist as well.
It tastes terrible.
Wow.
It's got to be like classic.
I thought that's what you do. You bring them in, crack the neck.
The old timers, I guess they didn't. But you can tell the difference between a bled mullet and a regular mullet.
You can taste the difference when you bleed a fish and don't bleed a fish.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes a big difference.
That's probably the most we've ever talked about mullet on this show.
Yeah. Now I'm hungry. I want smoked mullet today.
I know. I got to go find a guy on the side of the road to buy some.
All we got to do is go to his freezer.
Yeah, apparently. I'm going to Ted Peters. My smoked mullet spot.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And kingfish.
And my wife will, it's easy to trick my wife to go in there because she loves the cheeseburgers are great at Ted Peters. All right, Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio. We'll be right back.
I ate plenty of smoked mullet growing up. My grandfather he had this net that he would throw off the bridges, and I couldn't even pick it up when I was a kid. It was so damn heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a heavy
14
net.
foot,
Yeah.
I mean,
38
huge
pounds.
mullet, I couldn't even lift it. But,
Yeah, that's how my
he would
dad's
go
mullet
throw
net
that,
was.
And he'd smoke mullet all the time.
It's a wonder every mullet fisherman isn't just ripped.
Yeah. Mullet fishermen are wild, man. My big guy's a mullet guy, and he gets fired up about it. And yesterday, we have a 39-hour going out. We start loading at 2, so he's supposed to be there at 2 to start dipping pinfish. Well, it's 2. It's 2:15. It's 2:20. He's not there. So now I'm calling him. 225, not there. Now I'm calling him again. 230, he's still not there. I'm calling him a third time. He's like, I'm pulling up. 235, still not there. 240, I finally see his boat. And here he comes in the mullet skiff, and it's low. I'm like, this motherfucker, he's been out there mullet fishing in the islands, in eyesight of me on the other side of the island. He finally pulls up. He dips a couple pinfish, and he's like, all right, I got to go. I was like, what? We're not even done. He was like, I paid them. They can do it. They can do it. So he paid one of the other staff members to come over and finish because he's on the mullet so good. He was shaking.
Time is money.
He had to get back out there.
Time is money, brother.
So the only reason he showed up is to pay someone else to dip his pinfish, and so he could get more ice to cover the fish that he was catching.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I was like, dude, you're sick. Yeah.
I've seen the mullet so thick, duck hunting in Charlotte Harbor, that I've had dolphins chase them and they'll move my decoys because we'll use long lines. So all the decoys are connected together.
Yeah.
And that school would catch in the decoys and pull them.
Wow.
And then I've had them actually pin them, like, because you hunt up against mangroves.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I was hunting like at a cove.
Mm-hmm.
So I was back in this point, and the dolphins used it to funnel the mullet, and we ended up with like 12 or 15 mullet in our boat. They jumped in our boat to get away from the dolphins.
They will actually parade up the river. I mean, as far as you can see in both directions, just a line of mullet parading up the river, just jumping as far as you can see in either direction.
Wow.
I dearly love mullet.
Yeah, my dad was a big-time mullet fisherman, and he had the bug. And I grew up eating smoked mullet, grilled mullet, fried mullet, all the roe. We didn't eat white.
I mean, I like all fish, so I don't mind fishy fish. Like, fishy fish is fish, right? Like, that's...
Yeah. I think mullet's good.
I don't mind eating mullet. I just don't eat the roe.
My daughter loves
I
mullet.
definitely don't eat the white roe.
Yeah, no. There's the line.
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
And you boil your hot dogs? Come on, man.
You can boil hot dogs.
And he likes Mick Ultra.
I actually don't like Mick Ultra. It just sounded like the right thing to say. I don't drink at all, but it just sounded like that would resonate. Man. That would resonate with the people. Versus saying I'm going to crack a Diet Dr. Pepper and put a cut bait out there.
True.
I didn't think that was going to resonate with as many people.
Crack my water bottle.
Yeah.
Diet Dr. Pepper. Well, we got our last segment here, so I'll give you a second to talk about the business some and wrap her up.
If it fits. I mean, if we don't have phone calls or whatever, we can.
Yeah, we don't have any
He
phone
won't
calls.
chat, but
Too short of a segment to really take a call. Just have probably 2-3 minutes to wrap it up.
we can still talk about mullet and Mick Ultra.
Hey, D, we're not going to have time for Bob and Tarpon Springs. Can you let them know to call back next week? Thank you. I said we're not going to take any calls, and a call came in.
Yeah, my grandfather was the worked the drawbridge when Gandy was a drawbridge back in the day, and he had that net, and he would just throw it off the bridge, get mullet and stuff.
Wow.
And that's why he'd always have mullet with him.
I bet. Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio, talking fishing this morning, and we are back. Captain Dylan Hubbard, Captain Chris Myers from Kingston, and Captain Travis Thompson from all Florida this morning, talking fishing with you. Also want to give a shout out to our friends at Innovative Pools and Spas. With over 35 years of experience building pools in the Tampa Bay area, they continue the legacy of their father's company, which is recognized as a top pool builder in the area for 35 years. Plus, they continue to raise the bar in pool construction, design, and features. They have an unparalleled passion for the industry, along with a deep-rooted commitment to the community and unwavering dedication to excellence as well. Give them a call today at 727-788-1650 or visit innovativepoolsandspa.net for an estimate to see why they are the top choice for families in our community. Well, we're on the last big segment here, folks, and
definitely looking forward to a nice little weather window. Hopefully you guys are going to take advantage of it. Going to be a little chilly this morning, but going to warm up nicely by the end of the day. Wind's going to calm down. Tomorrow looks really good. Monday looks great. Tuesday should be really good as well. We're on that first quarter moon this weekend, coming up to a full moon next weekend. We've got a pretty strong front coming in midweek, so the fishing is always best right before the front or on the back side of the front once weather has had time to calm down and clear up. So we know tomorrow's going to be pretty good. Tomorrow's going to be pretty good. Monday should be great, and Tuesday should be pretty epic fishing-wise ahead of that next big front Wednesday afternoon. So take advantage of these weather windows this time of year if you can. If you have the flexibility to get off of work, Monday, Tuesday is going to be a good one. Even tomorrow looks pretty good as well. But should be a good time to capitalize on that weather window. Chris, thanks for joining us this morning from Ace Heating and Cooling and spending some time in studio talking, hunting with Travis and fishing with all of us and sharing some of your cut bait secrets there.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
It's always fun.
Always a good time for sure. Ace Heating and Cooling. Again, you can give them a shout if you want to work with Chris over there in Hillsborough County, 813-657-8818, or look them up online at brandonac.net. And also you have Facebook, you have Instagram, all that good stuff as well, right?
Yep. Facebook, Twitter, email, all that kind of stuff.
Ace Heating and Cooling. Look them up, follow them. It's actually some pretty good content that goes out there. Good reminders and stuff like that too.
Yeah, our website has a lot of tips, tricks, things like that, things to look for, things to do to prevent us from having to come out.
brandonac.net.
Cleaning the drain lines.
Imagine that, a business owner that's trying to prevent himself from having to come out and
providing an education.
Yeah.
It's a big part of it, man.
Well, some people don't mind that. Some people they don't want to mess with it. They just want to call, have you come out. But the other people, it's not fun going out to somebody's house to just reset a circuit breaker. So, we always have the questions we ask on the phone. Did you check this? Did you check that? It's not just about, we'll come out on this time. If they want to hear it, they want to look at some things themselves. We train our dispatchers to walk through certain things with the customer before they schedule the appointment.
That's awesome. Trying to help people. Save them some money. That's what it's all about. Good people. Fishy cat, as Mike would say. That's Travis, thanks for joining us this morning
Thanks
as well.
for having me,
How
man.
would you find out All Florida? How would you find it?
allfla.org. If you're looking for a year-end tax write-off, we'll always take your donations and doing good work.
Yes, sir. And then also duck ranching, right? You can go
Duck ranching. Yeah, we're not sure how much more we got left of that this year, but duck ranching is our social media or duckranching.com.
That's it. Or check us out at hubbardsmarina.com. Don't forget tomorrow, Sunday, 7 to 9 a.m. We've got Real Animal Sunday. Tomorrow night, we've got the live stream show, 7:30 p.m., where we give away $1,500 in free trips. Plus, we talk fishing and answer your questions live during the show. That's tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m., live on the Real Animals and Hubbard's Marina Facebook and Hubbard's Marina YouTube channel. So make sure you check us out for that. And hopefully, we'll see you guys join us again next weekend for another episode of our Saturday show. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. We're out. See you again next week.
Mike was supposed to be playing softball today. He hit me up that he couldn't make it this week and next weekend. But he was supposed to be playing.
He was hunting.
No, he's playing softball. But he was supposed to be. But then he texted me yesterday. He was like, "Hey, you do okay getting guests?" Because I ended up getting sick. So he's sick. So he's not even playing softball. Yeah. So he was going to join me in studio if I didn't have a guest. But I was like, no, I don't want to hang out with you if you're sick.
Yeah. Join me in studio, but don't breathe on me.
Yeah. You're good, man. So he's sick. All right, guys. Appreciate you for hanging out and joining the show this morning. Definitely check out Ace Heating and Cooling on social media. Give them a call if you're over there in Hillsborough, residential and commercial. Also, All Florida Giving Tuesday. Did you reach your goal?
We didn't do our goal, but we got pretty close.
That's
and
awesome,
there's still been some stuff coming in. So
that's awesome, man.
I got confidence we're going to get there.
Yeah. I love the social pushes. So check out allfla.org. Check them out on social. It's All Florida, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All FLA.org is our socials.
Oh, okay. So Travis does a really good job on social. His stuff is pretty entertaining. I'm not going to lie.
We try. It's not always me that does it either. We got a team.
I got you, but you got a great team. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Again, tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. for the live show. Don't miss out. See y'all.
That was a great show.